The notifications worked today. So where's all the viewers? There's only 12 people. Oh, there they are. 500, or sorry, 50. Hello, my little lammies. Are we going up now? I don't know, man. Yeah, I guess this cup's a little bit dirty, yeah. Maybe I shouldn't drink out of it. Maybe I shouldn't drink out of it. I don't want to hear Coke bottle. It's not a Coke bottle. Sprite. Well, it's actually store brand Sprite. It's all I can afford. This guy said bye, Jeff. What? Actually, let me look at that. Is Jeff still alive? It's frozen. Wow, Jeff is actually holding up. No, it's down 90%. No, it's not. Wow, I still remember back here, yeah. That's astounding. I mean, dude, off the bottom, it did do a 40x. You know what our mistake was? Assuming the coins were going to go back to their highs. That was the big mistake. I can sleep better now that I sold more. I sleep the same, but yeah, the brutal whatever turmoil is done for now. So now we have to start all over again, figure out how to get out of here once again. Cheap diet soda now, expensive medical bills later. I mean, what's in diet soda that's bad? I read that the aspartame isn't enough to affect your body as far as medically impairing it. Because I was under the impression that the diet soda was making my heart rate high, but it turns out it was crypto because I didn't drink any diet soda for months and my blood pressure never went down. And now I even lost 20 pounds and my blood pressure still didn't go down. So clearly there's an issue, and the only common denominator is crypto. So now that everything is said and done, hopefully over the next couple of weeks, everything will calm down for me, which is what I'm hoping. All right, we're not talking about diet soda, genuinely. Like, I'm not even trying to be funny. I really don't care. I'm getting out when Bitcoin's at 90K. It was just at 90K. Yeah, so the S&P, look at the Russell, man. It just surged and we didn't even go up at all. That's not good, man. It looks like we're getting a 20 it looks like we're getting a 2018 bull run, man. Does Rut even play a hand? It doesn't matter. It's too late. We already went down. You get a chance to be bullish when the Russell's bullish when we're in a bull market, but if it's not a bull market, you can see in 2018 we went up or the Russell went up, but Bitcoin did not in 2018. So it's too late. It's, I mean, listen, if you're still looking for a bull market, I'm not sure what I could show you, but you could just see MicroStrategy. MicroStrategy's bear market's already halfway done. That's what I wanted to look at today because it is a little bit alarming because of how fast everything kind of is moving. Like if MicroStrategy does this same exact thing, then technically there's only one more move down into the March, but that kind of doesn't make any sense because if we go down in March and the bottom's in October, then what are we supposed to do from May until October? That's why I'm a little bit concerned. Like, I'm not concerned, but I'm curious is a better word. Because, like, you could see that we're clearly following this. And now if we bounce, it says we should go down in February, but we're already down 70%. So if we go down in February and March, we're going to be down 90% or 80%. It's like that might, I'm not saying it's the bottom, but I guess we can't assume that it's going to look the same. But as of now, it does. That's why it's kind of weird. So what I mean is, if you look at this, but the scary thing is it actually lines up. It actually lines up. Look, so the 4-year cycle argument says the bottom's in October. If you take Ethereum's bear market from last time and you just overlay it, it actually says that the bottom should be in May, and then Bitcoin bottoms in October, and then the bull run starts again. It's so bizarre, even though we're in November. So what I was referring to in March and April, it might actually be January and February, which I'm all for that. That means by the summer the shit's done. Then we just sit and do nothing. Then buy back in at the end of fall. Then you just live your life, bull market. Like, you know what I mean? Like we just sat through a bull market and it felt like a bear market the whole time. I know I'm not the only one that feels that way. It was bullish from October to January of 2024, and then all of 2024 felt like a bear market, and all of 2025 felt like a bear market. So now that we're in the actual bear market, it's not hard to navigate because we were already doing that, but we had the assumption that it was bullish because Bitcoin was going up. Now that Bitcoin's going down, it's like, dude, we just sat through this for 3 years. That's why in my head I'm like, yo, if we just have to go through it one more time. And I'm thinking to myself, how could the bear market do the same exact thing? That's why I don't think it will, but if you overlay it to where we are, it actually says we should go down one more time and then get the bounce. But we're already bouncing. That's the problem. Like, can't say we're bouncing yet, but we're already at where we were in January of 2022. That's why I don't know if we can go down. I mean, maybe we go a little lower. It's possible. But then again, you can't assume it's going to look exactly the same. So we don't know exactly what it's going to look like. But the fact that the SPY is about to make a new high and we're still down. I mean, it's not about to make a new high, but it might even be doing what it did last time, where it's like it looks bullish and then it just starts falling off the table. Even back here in 2022, Bitcoin was already going down, and the S&P was bullish all the way until January. So we might be doing that again where it's like, yo, the S&P is still pushing. Why are we bearish? But Bitcoin topped here. So it's possible that the S&P, see, Bitcoin would have topped here. Or I guess technically here. So if the S&P squeaks up one more time and then it starts going down, yeah, we could get this. Let's see what happens. Yo, Junior Ford's in the chat. I was watching someone's YouTube video. Crypto University. Yeah, Crypto University. I like him, but I think he's taking a back seat now because now he's saying we could go down to 70,000 and still be in a bull market. Last bear market, he killed it. This bull market, I think he kind of took a step down personally. You know, I mean, who am I to talk? I'm just saying as a viewer. Because all of his indicators from 2022 are now saying we're bearish, but he's not pointing it out. But yeah, I was watching Crypto University's video and you were in the comments. I said one of my lambs has escaped the pen. I have to retrieve him. How can you overlay cycles when the run up didn't happen? Because the run up did happen, it just didn't happen for the altcoins. But yeah, the cycles are not going to repeat exactly the same. I'm not going to make that mistake. What I'm comparing is all of the bear market signals. That's what I'm comparing. All of the bear market signals that went off here and here are going off now. But what we also have to accept is the bear market is shrinking. So it might not be that deep. I mean, 65% is still deep, but we're already halfway down there. Pretty much. So is it really that far-fetched to expect us to do something like this? Like this exact move gets you down to 50,000. I mean, if you start buying Bitcoin at 50,000, you're pretty much, I think if you buy Bitcoin at 50,000, you're buying it here, basically. But another reason why I'm conflicted is because I'm not mentioning the Moon Boy chart anymore. Like I have my own, but I'm not gonna share it because I just got mocked anyway. But there is a bounce. It should be bullish heading into August, which is why it's like we could kind of do something similar where we crash from February down into June or May. We put some type of bottom in June or May. Then we bounce into August and then we crash from August until October. And then the bull run starts in January. Because you're getting the same bear signals. Yeah, I guess if this one prints bear. Yeah, it's about to. Look. This is about to print a bear signal. The last bear signal you printed was the bottom in January. Then we were bullish for 2 months. But like 2 months from now is January. It's not March. Here you can see as well, you printed the bear signal. You were bullish for 2 months. And then on the 3rd month, 4th month, you went straight down. So it's like, it's weird to say, but it's almost like the bear market is accelerated. But that doesn't mean that it's going to be bullish. It's just, it's possible that the capitulation is earlier than expected, but the bottom could still be in the same spot. Does that make sense? So like if we say the bottom is in October, the capitulation to the bottom could be anywhere. which is why I'm looking at all of this rubbish and I'm like, correct me if I'm wrong, just to myself, but it looks like the capitulation might be earlier than expected, which means we're going to have a long period of nothing. But you get a period of nothing every time. It's just in 2028 or 18, the nothing was before the drop. In 2020, whatever year this was, the nothing was after the drop. So I don't know. That's why I really would like for us to bounce, because it would paint such a clear picture of where we are. If we just float around here and do nothing, I think that's the worst case scenario, because then we don't know where we are. Like, if we just sit around doing nothing, you know it's a bear market, but you don't know how deep you are. Which, if you're just an investor, then it doesn't matter, because you know the bear market's going to end somewhere over here. But if you're not an investor and you're trying to time this big ass move, you need to know where this is. And if we sit here doing nothing, it becomes more improbable to be able to predict where this move is. So we got our work cut out for us, but we got plenty of time. Well, I guess technically we might not have as much time as I thought. Because if I'm looking at this, it looks like we're going to capitulate, which again, it's never going to do the same exact thing, but this actually says the capitulation starts in March and the bottom is in June, which I like this. Then there's an eclipse in August. Then the bottom is in October, and then the bull run starts in December. But if you look at MicroStrategy says you're here already. Look, you even got the same bear signal on MicroStrategy in the same spot. But it's never going to be the exact same, so I'm not gonna make any decisions. It's just something that I'm observing. The tether dominance is in the same exact spot too. So at some point the market's going to deviate, but as of right now, it's not. It's literally doing the same exact thing, which is very bizarre. Very, very bizarre. So I think if we go down again, that's bad, because then I have no idea where we are. And not as far as us, but like me, because I'm trying to make a plan. And my plan is kind of contingent on us doing nothing for the next 2 months. So if we go down again, like not necessarily down a little bit, like if we went down to 78K and then bounced, it's the same shit. But like if we took another leg down to 70,000, that would be bad. Because then I would be like, dude, what the hell? So I kind of hope we don't go down. Even if we go sideways, that's fine. But like you can see these moving averages are getting close together. Not yet, but if we go down again, they're going to get close together. But they don't get close together until you're about to go straight down. That's why I kind of need us to bounce. See? Look, this thing printed bear, and then 3 months later, the bottom was in. This thing printed bear. 3 months later, the bottom wasn't in, but you pretty like 15, 16, 17K was pretty much the bottom. I mean, you went a little lower, but barely. Same thing even in 2014, man. You printed bear 3 months later, the bottom was in. So I kind of need us to go up from here. Even if it's for 2 months. Because I'm open-minded. Because we gotta understand two things. One, I'm never gonna be able to predict the move. And two, even when we got the move right, the top or the bottom still altered from the previous one. So it's not going to look exactly what we want it to look like. But if we're open to that, we'll be able to accept it and say, all right, maybe that was the move. So if we're already here and we actually start rolling over in February instead of March, then the bottom could be in May instead of June. Which does make sense because the bottom here was in June, but the bottom here was in November. Our bottom is in October this time. So it's shifted over. Which is why for me, I think I think I'm gonna stick to the stock RSI because if the stock RSI is overbought in January, then that might be it. Because even in 2018, the video I made today pointed it out. Even in 2018, the stock RSI like bounced, but you made a lower high. So if we're gonna get that's why we have to bounce, man. The answer lies in the bounce. Because if we get the bounce and the stock RSI goes like this and we make a lower high, that is the last high that you're gonna get before you go straight down. Because it happened in 2021, it happened in 2018. Like you came up here and you didn't reach overbought, and then when you rolled over, you never went back to that point for another year and a half, like a year and 2 months. What happened in 2013? Yo, even here, look, the RSI went to overbought, you made that high, and you never went back to that price for another 2 years. So whatever the price is on this pump, assuming we get it, it could be the high for many years to come. So if it's really small and it's only like 103, but it should only be 103,000. But if you think about it, let's just assume we put the high in January. You now have 10 months to go down to the bottom. Right, 259 days. If we look at 259 days from every other bottom, that puts you here. So it works. 259 days. Yeah, see, this one is where it's kind of off, you know? The next 3 months are going to really determine a lot. Because Solana too, like, dude, Solana went down how much in this little... Dude, Solana fell by 80% in 2 months. That's sick. I mean, we just fell 50% in 2 months. Yeah. We just fell 50% in 2 months. So technically, if we started going down in February, 2 months would be May. Could we? Yeah. We need to bounce, chat. You guys don't understand this. I mean, maybe we don't bounce. We just can't go down. We just got to stay where we are. Like that, it's so imperative that we don't go any lower than where we are right now. I saw Ben Cohen. Yeah, Ben Cohen is like sad right now. For someone who has a lot of money, I'm surprised at how sad he is. But he was like deflated that we didn't go up. I mean, I was too, but I'm poor. He's rich and he's more deflated than I am. Unless he's just playing a character, which is very possible. He probably laughed when he ended the video. But he showed that the moving average broke. So now we got to go down to the moving average. Yeah, it's too bad that it's too bad that my indicator just doesn't work. Oh, I can just add another one though. Yeah, see, he was pointing out which I think, listen, I think the simple analysis is the best. When people start making up rubbish ass shit, man, it never ends well. But look, you break the yellow, you go to the orange, you break the orange, you go to the red. We have not been at the orange moving average. Yo, but even here, that's what I'm saying, chat. We better bounce. Every indicator says the same thing. If we go below the orange, we go down to the red. But we're already at the orange, so we need to bounce from here. Please. It's my only chance. But when you look at it from this simple perspective, it kind of looks so bearish, you know? That's what you got to keep it simple. You got to stop looking at these moonboy ass indicators like we're bearish. We have not come to this. Look at it this way, chat. Let me break it down for you as simple as possible. You only touch this moving average when it's a bear market, or it's changing from a bear market to a bull market. Would you agree with that? Unless you're gonna have the people that argue COVID always. You see? This is the first time we're touching this moving average since this level. The problem is every time you break through it, you capitulate. Even here, you fucking capitulated through. So it's like, where's the moon boys at, man? I need you to step it up. I think if we can form a low here and then be bullish for the next 8 to 10 weeks, and we don't make a new all-time high, that'll let us know that that'll let us know exactly where we're at. I would like to see the stock RSI up here in March. If it ends up being February, fine. I just don't want it to be in January, because if it's in January, that's kind of a little fast for me. But I'm not going to say it's impossible because the bear market is shrinking too, so we're not going to need as much time to go down. 100, even a, yeah, I guess so, brother. 126 days is February. 126 days. So if we start crashing in February, so this crashed from March to June. So how many months is that? 3. If we crash from February to May, how many months is that? 3. Summer's nothing because of the solar eclipse. And then the final move down for the bottom in October. And then the bull run starts again. Because you have another Moonboy eclipse in August. So we could probably do nothing until January. And then the rally starts in February. Yeah, nah, I think we're going to get this, man. I think we're going to get it right. Because I know I get mocked, but we got this right, dude. We just got the top wrong. But I don't care. I don't care about the top anymore. I only care about this. Because this is where my life changed. I just didn't realize it. So we need to find this. And this should be at the end of 2027, which is literally 2 years from now. Which that's not tomorrow. Obviously, that's a long way away. But the whole planet is going to be looking for the all-time high when they're looking at the wrong thing. Because all the people are talking about the PMI index, brother, even that shit said the top was here. This was the rally that changed your life. Which these were 3 years apart, 1,000 days. But if you look, 1,000 days is next year. So, but it's not going to be next year. That's impossible. Well, I guess if you measure it from the bottom, right? If you measure it from when the rally starts to where the rally starts, it's 1,100 days. So if you move this out, it would be February of 2027. But that's not going to be it either. There's probably a special way to measure it, but You get the idea. The concept here is even if it's 1300 days, it's in 2027, which is next year. So everyone that's like getting all depressed, like, oh, my life is over, like you're just wake up. Your life is not over. You just fucked it up. That's what I'm telling myself. I literally had everything I dreamed of. Like I didn't have everything I dreamed of, but it was in the picture. You know, like I had this, I had this, I had this, I had this. All of it is gone, blown up. And now I have to start all over again. But I can start all over again. And I've done it before, so I know it's doable. That's why I don't want you guys losing all your money, because even if you save 20% of what you had, that's a 5x. Like, obviously, that's a lot of money, but you can make a 5x if you find out where this is. That's why I'm trying to find out where this is, because this is just as important to me now. Because I'm no longer a big moon boy. I'm just giving them whatever the market gives me, that's what I'm going to take. But I need to find this. And we can't find this if we go down from here. We need to stay up here. Because like chat, every time we break through this, it just goes straight down. I call it market suffocation. The market gets suffocated. And it's like, holy shit. That's what we didn't get the holy shit yet. That's the thing. The holy shit doesn't come until you're deep into the bear market. Which right now, everything seems okay because, like, there's a lot of complacency still. People are still saying we could still go up. But they're not looking at where we are in history. Every time you come to this moving average, you break through it, the bear market is over. So we can't go down. That's why I still think we can get a bull trap, because half the YouTubers are saying it's still bullish. I was watching a YouTuber this morning who's been around for years, and he's still saying alt season is coming because of the PMI chart. And I get it. I see the argument. I understand. But they're pushing narratives that don't exist. Like, he failed to point out that these are making lower lows every time. Like he said, we're at the point where alt season always starts. And it's like, what? What? How do we know this doesn't continue the trend and make a lower low? And then the Fed starts QE. And then the bull run starts. Like, it's not going to look like this, obviously, because this is 2026. But this looks bearish to me. It looks like it wants to roll over. Like, and that's not even uncommon. That's not even uncommon. Look, it rolled over here. It rolled over here. It didn't roll over here. You made a higher low. So we made a higher low here. But now it looks like it's pulling back. But the reason why this is bearish is because if it goes like this, now you're coming, like, you have to go like this, because if it breaks, it's going to plummet. And everyone's saying QE, QE, QE. They didn't even say they were doing QE. They said they're ending QT. Which last market cycle, they ended QT here, and then we made a new low. And then they did QE, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know. I'm not an economist. I don't think that's right, actually. I think the QE started in November, if I'm not mistaken. But you'll have to watch someone else to look at the economics. I'm not saying that shit's irrelevant, but like the chart will tell you what's going to happen. And I don't want to look at this rubbish. So Lovo for 20 months says, are we done for the year? Any hope? I appreciate the 20 months. Well, what do you mean by are we done for the year? Is the bull market over? I think the bull market is over, but we could rally from here until January or February. So if you want to hold, it's up to you. It's a case-by-case it's a person-by-person case, however the saying goes. I don't fucking know how to say it. It's a case-by-case basis based on each person. If you think you're going to FOMO back in as soon as we bounce, then, maybe staying in is better. There is no guarantees for a bounce, but even if it is a traditional bear market, we really can't go much lower, which technically we could go as low as we want. But if the market's going to behave the way that it always does, maybe we could go a little lower, but we should see some type of relief. Now, if you're holding Jasmy, the the rules that apply to Bitcoin don't apply to Jasmy. Jasmy could go straight down at any time. But are we done for the year as far as the bull run? I think so. Because if you think about it, chat, it's about to be December and we still didn't go back up. And I don't know if you noticed, but if it's December 6th, we're actually 2 months in already. Which is kind of hard to it's hard to fathom, but like 2 months into the bear market last time, you rallied. Like, this is kind of mind-boggling to me, but it's almost like if it's a bear market, you should rally in December. That's what's so odd. But it doesn't feel like a bear market to everyone. Well, not you guys, but like in general, because we never had to rally in the first place. But I remember this feeling, man, and this rally was 100. This one, you can't even really say you got a rally. It just made lower lows and lower highs. But I guess you would say this was the rally. This was at 56 days. So, I mean, this one was 56. This one was much longer at 126. But you could even say here, look. Yeah, this one's a little bit longer. This one's a little bit different. But they're all a little bit different. That's why I'm not going to come on here telling you guys you better get in before the bounce. Because we may not get the bounce. I'm hoping for a bounce. Because the last 2 market cycles, you did get a bounce. But I don't even care if I'm just ignoring the other market cycles. We need to get a bounce. Even the super trend. Chat, every time we break the super trend, we just go straight down. Well, actually, in 2014, you bounced. Okay. So even that's just made up. Take that back. Last time we broke the super trend, we went straight down. All right. So maybe we could go a little bit lower. But if it was just going to be easy peasy, lemon squeezy, I would like for us to just bounce. Or do nothing. If we're the same price, but then at that point, that's why I think we should bounce. Because I think if we do nothing, like if I were going to trap as many people as possible, I would bounce. Because if we're still at 90,000 and it's March, the whole planet is going to say it's a bear market. Which is why I don't see it happening. If I were going to wreck as many people as I can, I would send it a little bit lower so people start shorting, and then I would bounce it back up to like 100K. Then all the people who sold FOMO back in. But I'm sitting on the sidelines. I refuse to get chopped up. So good luck to you all. But I appreciate the sub. QE start to bullish trend is about 4 to 6 months apart. Yeah, and they didn't even end QT yet. Just give up, it's a bear market. Yeah, I know it's a bear market. Well, at least in my opinion, maybe we make a new high, but I'm not sure what you're trying to say. Yeah, my new thing for next year, I gotta stop explaining everything. I just explained to you what I'm looking for, and you tell me give up, it's a bear market. When we're trying to find the capitulation for the bottom. That doesn't really make any sense. 4-year cycle was broken. No, agony. See, I'm gonna do it again. I gotta learn. My New Year's resolution is just gonna be stop explaining everything. Just stop. That's gonna be one of my new things. Thanks for sharing. I have to say it. Thanks for sharing. Check the Discord. No, I'm not watching MLK. Especially if it's AI. They make AI wrestling where the people are on WWE. JI, it's just hopium and copium. You're right. I'll give it a 1. I'll give it a 1 out of 10 rage bait. But it tells me that you're not listening. Because we're trying to find when are we going to go straight down. And you're telling me it's hopium. Which doesn't make any sense. Because hopium would be bullish to the moon. So I'm trying to find where's the bottom. Not where the bottom is, but where's the move to the bottom. And you're calling it hopium. Which is... You're watching with no sound. Which is fine. A lot of people watch with no sound. They have the translators rub their hand in braille, tell them what I'm saying. So maybe that's what your translator is telling you. Chelsea versus Barcelona all in. Yo, Happy Goyam bet all of his money on Barcelona, chat. We said this was going to happen. So if your team loses, you lose all your money. Yo, the gamblers never learn, man. Please tell me that's not what you did. Please tell me that's not what you did, man. Happy Goyam did not bet all of his money on a soccer game. So if you lose, you're eliminated. I was not trying to trigger you. I'm not triggered at all. If I were triggered, trust me, if I were actually triggered by somebody, I would ban them. Like I don't engage with rubbish. You have to understand that the chat is not really moving, so I gotta make it entertaining. I'm gonna do a corner bet. I don't know what that means. Oh yeah, let's see. Did this guy's coin go up or down? Oh, it did. It actually broke through. Nice. It did break through. Yo, nicely done, man. Nicely done. Don't look back. That's one of my biggest problems is looking back once I sold something, because then you FOMO back in and get wrecked. I have to change my whole attitude, which I'm working on it, towards crypto. The crypto dream that we once had doesn't exist, where you buy in and hold. It just doesn't. Whoever sold you that is a fucking asshole, myself included. What's up, Beauty? Welcome to the end of the live stream. So, what did I want to look at today? There was something else I wanted to look at. Oh wait. The 1 week Gaussian channel turning red. Yes. Yep. Yudi for 10 says, should I hold my short from 94K with a liquidation price of 91K? I'm not sure how that's even possible. If you started shorting in 94 and your liquidation is below your entry, I'm not sure. I think there's a good chance Bitcoin does go over 91K in the next 3 months. But I think over the next 3 months, Bitcoin will go over 94K. So that would be my answer. You're short from 84K, so you're underwater. I mean, listen, you're gonna have to go to a trader's channel because I'm not a trader. Whether or not Bitcoin goes like this first, so you can get out for profit and then does this, or it goes like this, makes a new low, and then goes like this, I'm not sure. But in my opinion, in the next 2 to 3 months, I do think Bitcoin comes over 91,000. So if you're going to get liquidated at that price, you'll have to make a decision and see if the short term we go lower first. It's very possible that we go below your entry so you can get out. But I'm not a trader, so I don't know if that's going to happen. Right. Because even if it is a bear market, we should still go back up to 90,000. Or even this, like let's say we go up to 89,000 and then we turn bearish. Technically, Bitcoin is still bearish right now. The problem is your liquidation is like slightly above where it would be bullish. So you're in like a tough spot, you know? I wish I had a better answer, but yeah, your entry was shit, unfortunately. I don't know, you know. I'm not a trader, but I mean, if you shorted at 84, you either shorted right before the crash or you shorted after the bottom was in, which means you FOMO'd in. So it's kind of like a weird spot because we went down so much that we could bounce over your liquidation and still be bearish. So I don't really have a proper answer, yeah. You know, like I don't want to tell you the wrong thing, but your entry is just so low. In my opinion, I do think I'll say this. I do think in the next 2 to 3 months we will go over your liquidation price. So if we get the chance and you get a chance to get out, you could probably just close the trade, you know. Even if you got to get out for a loss, because again, I'm not a trader, but I'm not retarded either. And I can see maybe sometimes I am, but like again, even if it is a bear market, which is where people would short, you have never broken through this 2 week channel until it was time to end the bear market since the beginning of time. So I don't think it's different this time, which means that we need to go up from here or go sideways. So in the short term, maybe we go below your entry and you can close the trade. But if you're looking for a profit, it's very unlikely unless the cycle has shifted and then the bottom could be anywhere, at which point the indicators won't be as useful, which is why I hope we do bottom soon, you know? But I appreciate the tip, man. There is a possibility it dips below your entry one more time. But I think if it gets over 88,000, you might have to close it because this weekly stock RSI is going to flip bullish very soon. But I appreciate the 10, man. It helps out a lot. Wait, so Happy Goyam, if your team loses, you lose all your money, and if your team wins, you get all your money back? Is that what you're saying? Moonboy chart says after lunar eclipse, bull run starts. No, it doesn't, Sonny. That's why I'm not talking about it anymore. Because we made 2 new all-time highs with no solar eclipses. So we got to accept that it was incorrect. You know? We literally had 2 lunar eclipses. We made 2 new all-time highs. So it's invalidated. But for the altcoins, it's very much prominent. It's much more prominent. But even so, we can't assume what we once assumed. So I think there should be a bounce in the summertime, but the bottom would still be in the fall. Yudi for 10 says we retest 80K before moving up. It's not impossible. I'll tell you this, if we're going to go down to 80K, it's going to happen in the next 2 weeks. Because if we stop going down, the stock RSI is going to stop. The stock RSI is going to start to turn bullish. So if you want to hold the short, that's up to you. It's not impossible that we go down one more time. Because even the daily stock RSI is curling up though. Maybe we don't go to 80K. Maybe we go to like 83. Again, maybe you do get a chance to close your trade below your entry. But I think again, if you look at this 8-day stock RSI, it's flat. I mean, technically that is maximum bearishness, but look at what happens after that. Like it shoots up. And we've already been down here for a little while. And the thing is, it's already been flat. So it's like we kind of already had the capitulation. I don't know how I didn't see this, but I would have ignored it anyway. But yeah. Whenever the stock RSI is oversold, it's actually bearish. Like even last time, you can see it was oversold and we went down. But we already went down. So maybe we go below 80K briefly, maybe we don't, but again, in my opinion, in 3 months, we're probably over your liquidation. So it's up to you to take the gamble if you're going to get out early or try and time it for your entry to be good and you can get out and profit. But again, even if you're shorting for a bear market, every time it's a bear market, we bounce. Or if we don't bounce, we don't go lower. But the reason I can say this won't happen is because in this time frame, the Bitcoin dominance was climbing. See? We don't have that this time. So that tells me that Bitcoin won't actually go sideways. It's going to either go up or down. But I appreciate the 10, man. That's awesome. I wish I had a better answer, but your entry isn't the best. And I don't mean that to insult you, but we already had the move down. So people shorting now, I think will get rinsed if we bounce, which is why I think we should. I don't think we should bounce just because people are shorting. We should bounce because every time we come to where we are, we bounce in a bear market. And the reality is, whether we like it or not, a lot of people said the top was going to be in October. We crashed when we were supposed to crash. So the market's following that blueprint. So I have to assume it's following the bear market blueprint as well. So we need to go up or go sideways. Either or. I send you 2 on base. Do I think Pengu will bounce like Flog? I appreciate the 2. Yeah, you got to be careful, man, because again, these Bitcoin charts don't apply to Pengu. It could bounce because it's severely oversold. But if I'm being honest, it looks like this coin is going to come down to the low again. I mean, it looks like you're in an elongated version of this. So it is going to be impossible to predict big bounces. Because even Solana, listen, even Solana didn't really bounce that big in 2022. That's what I'm saying. Like people shouldn't be FOMOing in because there might be a bounce. That's what I'm trying to say. Like if you FOMOed into Solana when Bitcoin bottomed, you went down first. So I can't I don't think Pengu is the best option. But again, could it bounce if we get a big reversal? Yes, because of how oversold it is. But as long as it's below 13, it is bearish. I don't think it's going to bounce like FWOG because FWOG had somebody just sold all their coins. Like if you look at, so in other words, we'll just wrap this one up for now. As long as it's below 13, it is bearish. And you can even pull it down to here. And you can see the 382 is right at 13 as well. So we can say that as long as it's below 14, it's bearish. And as long as it's below 12, it's actually very bearish. But the reason why I don't think it's going to bounce like FWOG is because FWOG, oh, shit's going down again anyway. Someone dumped all their coins. Like you see how FWOG went down, like basically capitulation, it went straight down. That's why you got such a big bounce. Pengu doesn't have that. Pengu is natural selling. Like here, somebody sold all their coins, but then you got a big bounce of 25%. No one did that yet. So this is actually organic selling. It's not like a whale selling all their coins, which means that as long as it's below 12, you could still see that. Which is why I'm trying to stress the point here that just because we think it's going to bounce doesn't mean it can't go lower first. That's why I'm not like, not you specifically, but people shouldn't be FOMOing in because it's going to bounce. Like we could go down first. You know, for all we know, there is no bounce and it does this. But then because we're below the moving average, whereas here we were above the moving average, then it goes down. Entirely possible. Like that's why I got to stop saying big bounce coming because we don't know if it's coming. But I'm trying to stress that. I really think we're in, like, I know it sounds weird coming from me, but every sign that's not bias says it's a bear market. So I don't think FOMOing in because we might bounce is the best idea, you know? But like I get it, because if you can time it, you can do very well, but you might as well just do the other side of the trade. Wow, this coin is still going up? Holy shit. But that would be my answer for Pengu, if that makes sense, yeah? Like, yeah, even this coin's going down now. It wouldn't bounce like FWOG because FWOG had a capitulation and that coin did not. But if and when we do get the bounce, Pengu should bounce. But again, we keep using the term bounce now. It's like overused. We might not get it. And if we don't get it, you know for sure it's a bear market. But I would really be disappointed if we did go down again. See, look, even this signal prints a bear signal. The last time he printed a bear signal was here. And then we bounced for 72 days and then we went straight down. You printed a bear signal here, but that was the bounce. But then you went straight down 190 days later. So it's not exactly so clear cut. But just for the record, chat, the whole point of this is you printed a bull signal right when it turned bullish. So how come when it prints a bear signal, we want to ignore it? And a lot of people will, but I can't. I did last time and I got wrecked. And I wrecked a lot of people. I can't do it this time. We want to believe it when it's bullish, but when it's bearish, we don't want to believe it. And that's how you end up in the poorhouse. So when I say bounce, I'm not saying bounce because I'm bullish. I'm saying bounce because I need us to bounce, because if we go lower, then I don't know where this is. And this is not bullish, chat. We went down from 40,000 to 20,000. So if I'm looking for this, why would I be bullish? I'm essentially looking for 80,000 to 40,000. I just don't know where that is. Which at face value, you could probably be saying, oh, it's every 4 years. But the move is moving. You know, like if you would have said, oh, you just do this 30 days before the bottom, like last time, the move down was almost 200 days before the bottom. So you missed the whole move down, which is what I'm trying not to do. Because like I said, for the 5th time, and I think this is going to be the last time I'm going to explain it, just because I'm rambling. This is where most people made money. This is where most people will make money. This is where most people will lose all of their money. And this is where most people never got another chance to make money. It's very hard unless you're shorting, but I don't know if people actually shorted back here. But yeah, if you shorted this, you lost all your money. So, yeah. The base case is from now until February, we should either bounce or stop going down. But that doesn't mean go all in on nobody's sausage. Nobody's sausage. I appreciate the 2. All in on Chelsea. So, Happy Goyim, if your team loses, you lose all your money. 5K on Barcelona wins 17,000. If Barcelona goes 2 goals ahead, early payout. Yeah, so if your team loses, then you lose all your money. Fireman for 2 says, what's the word on useless? So I appreciate the 2. John Doe is in the building, the legend. Oh, Fireman got the Dogecoin logo. My man. Yeah, there's more Dogecoin logos in the chat. This coin is slowly going to 0, I think. Again, the bull market is pretty much wrapped up at this point. You could say that it is still bullish, however, as long as it remains above the 85. Again, the Solana casino remains open until proven otherwise, but I think this coin gets sent to 0 once it falls below 84. So if you want to bounce, if you want to play the bounce on 84, that's up to you. Once it falls below 84, the target becomes 3 cents at the 618 retracement. So totally up to you if you want to play the bounce or not. I'm already sick of saying the word bounce. Bounce, bounce. Remember bounce token? Bounce token. Too much hype for Bark. Oh, the team, he's betting on the team that's losing. Oh man, I hope you don't lose all your money, dude. I'm on Coinbase, is that it? If the price of your token is 11.9 cents, then yes. Coinbase only, as the legend would say, Coinbase only lists coins to farm people. So this is the full chart. So the Coinbase farm chart probably doesn't have this. So if it falls below 84, it's going to 0. That's such a good term, get farmed. The Coinbase farming business. They farm their customers, then they shut their accounts. Swift chose Linea over XRP. This is going to be very fast, chat. If anyone has their own analysis that they would like to share, you could join the Discord and share it. This guy's talking about MLK. Right? This gentleman in the chat, I believe, is bullish. But he's sharing his opinion. Opinions are valued if you're gonna give input. See, this gentleman is sharing information. This gentleman is also sharing his input, so he's looking for the same thing. I would love for it to do that. I really would. I just don't know if the same exact thing would happen twice in a row. Definitely got farmed this year. Yeah, we all got farmed. Sports betting back down the rabbit hole for him. Yeah, I hope he doesn't lose all of his money on gambling, man. Chaos King says your secret chart says blow off top is missing. Yeah, that's what we said last time, remember? I think you can simplify it down to this, chat. When in history has Bitcoin ever had a 5-month red candle after having 7 green candles and still been bullish? If you look at it from this perspective, it makes it so much easier to accept it. I mean, dude, look at that shit. In 2029, you had 882 days of bullish. This time we had 882 days of bullish. In 2017, you had 884 days. Like it's there. And then you start putting the indicators on the chart. Actually, I did have something to share with you, chat. It was the Brycas indicator. What was it called again? RC3 lines? Yeah, even this indicator says it's over. And this was one of the indicators that were bullish at the bottom. This indicator called the bottom directly in November. It called the bottom directly in March, and it called the bottom directly in July. And now it just crossed to the downside. The last time it crossed to the downside was September of 2021 and March of 2018. But again, you have to remember that these are 2-month candles. So 2 months ago, it was September, which is exactly what happened in 2021. Thomas for $1. I appreciate the $1. ZBCN and Cody, you're gonna have to pick one for $1. Oh man, appreciate the $1. Come live. I'll buy you Taco Bell. I already got more Taco Bell videos coming out. We'll do ZBCN because there's a couple people in the chat that have that. It'll help out a lot. Let's see, ZBCN. ZBCN is also hitting the 382. Yeah, so someone else has this coin in the chat, and I drew this chart for them, and it's still getting stuck at the 382 retracement. So I'm not saying to sell it, but if we can't get over 350 soon, it's going to capitulate back down to the low. Because you are still making lower highs and lower lows. You did break the downtrend, but you're getting stuck at a 382, which is a bear bull trap. So I'd have to say ZBCN is bearish as long as it's below 350. If you can get back over 350, the rally can continue all the way up to 450, and then getting over 450 would send you to the moon. However, on the flip side, because you sent a $5 bill, appreciate that. He tried to get a cheap on me. Tried to get a cheapie. That's a lesson, chat. Value yourself. You'll know ZBCN is going back down to the low once it breaks below 29. So it's up to you if you want to sell it now at 35. I'm not telling you to do that. But if you don't sell it now and then it falls below 29, you know that that was the top and it's going down. Could you come down to 29 and still be bullish? Technically, yes. But if you can't break the 382 at 35, it's bearish. And the other one was what? Cody? Yeah. The old ass coins are done, man. Our biggest mistake this market cycle was saying that the coins have to go back to their highs. This coin is topped out forever, I think. I think it's on the road to zero down here at 1.2. You can see from the high down to the low. Yeah, beautiful 618 retracement. This coin is done, man. You could get moves up and down along the way. You already hit the 382 retracement. Yeah. I think these coins are done. This coin is bearish as long as it's below 63. So I would say this coin is done, man. We'll say very bearish below 45, bearish below 7. Could you get a bounce to 7? Technically, yes, if Bitcoin gets a bounce. So if you want to hold out for the bounce, that's up to you. If you could get over 7, then this coin can go back up for a new run. Obviously, you would need a Bitcoin bull run for that. But you can just look at the times this thing topped. March of 2024 was biggest alt season. December of 2024 was the second alt season. If we never get alt season, then this coin has nowhere to go but down. So I would say very bearish below 45. It may not ever, it already wicked up there, so it may never go back up there, but I would say bearish below 45 and bearish below 72. So I would say at some point in the next year, it should come to 1 cent. Could we bounce up to 45 to 65 first and then go to 1 cent? That is very possible. And if it ever gets over 7, then the bottom is in and we can talk about 21 cents. But this is not happening unless Bitcoin's in a bull market, in my opinion. So I appreciate the 5, man. It helps out a lot. Someone else sent it $2. Somehow it's Major General Tao for 2 says somehow it's so obvious, but still many in copium. I appreciate it too. Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm not gonna pretend that I was never one of the Moon Boys and I'll always be a Moon Boy. It's difficult for people to accept it because the market never went up. But if you take the goggles off and you look at it, and I'm not even saying that I'm an analyst because I'm not, but I have been staring at these dumbass charts for more than 5 years now. And if you take the Moon Boy goggles off and you just look at it for what it is, which is a piece of shit with candle bars, most of the candle bars look like they topped out forever. Like if you took this and you said that this was a stock, you would say that this thing is never going back up. But because we are married to this idea of alt season, we say, well, at some point it did a 100x, so I just have to wait for that to come again. But then you look at some stocks like this, for example. This was a medical stock, AKTX. It just goes down forever. But there was a time where you bought in and it did a 10x. And it's like, well, I'm just going to wait for that to happen again. And it never happens. Dude, this stock, this was one of the first penny stocks I saw. It did a big ass spike in spring of 2017 right here. I said, wow, I want to be a penny stock trader. If I would have put my money in and I would have got a 3x in 1 hour. That shit was in 1 hour, I remember. Now look at it. 0. So I get it. That's why I finally broke up with my Moon Boy self. Or not my moon boy self, but I broke up with my altcoin self. Because in 2024, I only made money because I was not grifting. Well, I was grifting, but I meant to say jeeting. We have our two words, grifting and cheating. I was jeeting all over the place. But I understand that you can cheat in a bear market too. Why do you have to cheat in a bull market? It's just easier to make money in a bull market because everything just goes to the moon. Versus now, you can say everything goes to the downside, but you have to use leverage, you know? Where it's like, then if you use leverage, you could get liquidated. In a bull market, you just buy spot and you could still get a 3x. If you're shorting, you could get a 3x, but you need leverage. And then if you're using leverage, you have to be an expert trader or at least have uh some type of understanding of liquidations and shit. And I always lose money when I use leverage, so yeah. But when you take the moon boy goggles off and you just look at it for what it is, another reason why it's easier for me to accept it is because as much as I didn't want to accept it, I lost so much money. I actually went below the number I said I would never go below, but I'm at the number I'm at now where I physically can't handle it if I go below this number. So I took my money out. And now that I took my money out, there's like this pressure that disappears and you can see that it's not bullish anymore. But a lot of people can't afford for it to be bearish, so they have to believe that it's bullish. And then you have people come on YouTube selling them bullish hopium, like I did last time. But that's why, like I said yesterday, I'm not using bearish indicators. I'm using neutral indicators that have now turned bearish. But there are people that are only using bullish indicators or only use bearish indicators. These indicators only turn bearish when it's actually bearish, and they only turn bullish when it's actually bullish. And I see that now. And I understand that I cannot lose any more money. But I'm still here looking for reasons to be bullish, but there are none. There are none. I don't see any. The only reasons that we can be bullish is because it's bearish, and it's bullish in a bear market, which is why it would be bullish, but it's not really bullish. It's like fake bullish, which is why it's called a bull trap. But I need us to get a bull trap so we can be bearish from there all the way to the bottom. And if we don't get that, then I'll have to figure something out. But if it was a bull market, we wouldn't still be down here. Like we would have went up by now. The fact that we're still down here, we've been selling off for 2 months already. I know that sounds hard to believe, but isn't that kind of sick? We've been going down for 2 months now. By the time everyone accepts it's a bear market, the bear market's halfway over. Which is why I think a bounce is more likely than another capitulation, because if we capitulate again, everyone's going to say it's a bear market. I think we went just low enough to where some people are still bullish. That's why I'm really glad we came down here, because when we were up here, you remember I was saying, I hope we just go down to 80K. This way we know it's over. And that's exactly where we stopped, 80,000. Not that I said we were going to stop at 80,000, but that's where we always stop. So, in a bear market. Now I have to pray we bounce. But I actually would be very content if we did just chop around. This way, I don't get any FOMO. But my deadline for FOMO is December. Like if we're still at 95K, if we're below 95K and it's January, even if we went up to 100,000, I wouldn't get FOMO because it took too long. The reason I say it took too long is because if you start looking at the stock RSI on the large time frames, it actually says the bear market's already been confirmed. Like if you look at the 5 week, if we go down again, I actually think in 26 days, this candle will print again. And every time you've hit this level, it was a bear market already. So, but it's like the first move down of the bear market, which even this says we should bounce. So the next 5-week candle should technically be green, which is whatever 26 days from now is, January. But yeah, I mean, you could just look at it and you could just see, like, ask yourself, if 100% of the time this happens, it's bearish, why is it different this time? Because the coins didn't go up? That's what we said last time. But you guys got to understand that some YouTubers make more money telling you that it's bullish. Like that guy Tech Dev on X, he was bullish all through 2022 as well. And he's still bullish now because he's pulling so many views and he's getting so much money from X. Why would you? And he never showed his face. So if you don't know where he is, you don't know who he is, I would do the same shit. If you never saw my face before and I didn't have the connection with a people, like, think about it this way. If you could just print money, just posting bullshit, no one knows your face, no one knows who you are, no one knows where you live, wouldn't you make money too? He probably has a regular life outside of this. He probably makes like he probably makes $500 a post. If he just, or maybe even if he makes $100 a post, and he bull posts 3 times a day, brother, that's $300 a day. That's fucking 100 grand a year to bull post on Twitter. Yeah, that's sick. That's sick, man. Sick shit. Tom Lee, who's been right all year, will be right again. Tom Lee's the Asian guy, right? The chubby guy, Fun Strat? Yeah, he said that we were bullish here. So he might be always right because he's always bullish, but once the bear market hits, he's not right anymore. Maybe I'm thinking of the wrong guy. I don't know. Driving home now. Bitcoin did higher highs in the lunar cycle. Yeah, I know. That's why the lunar chart doesn't work. That's why we're not sharing it. That's why I'm not sharing my chart here anymore. Get the food channel growing. Crypto is cooked for this cycle. Yeah, I mean, I'm getting subscribers, but nobody's watching the video. So it's like, I don't know if I should shill my food channel or not. Because you guys are subbing, but you're not watching. So it's like, well, it's not helping me. It is, but it's not, if that makes any sense. Impressions don't pay that much. I don't know. I saw some guy with 6,000 followers was getting paid out $150. And that some of the big X accounts get like 1 million impressions. So if I can just bull post, the difference between last time, or the difference between me and the other people, which maybe this is not true, but I actually believed it. Like, I didn't want to accept that it was over because I'm like, bro, the coins never went up. How could it be over? But like, now that we know that that's possible, it's happening again. There's just so many more coins now where you can see it. So I didn't expect Doge to not make a new high. That I'm shocked. But again, that's because we're moon boys. If you look at the Doge chart, is it really that unimaginable that something that did a 500x didn't make a new all-time high? I didn't realize it did a 500x. Wow, 600x. And it becomes easier to see it once you realize that it hit the 786 retrace. Like, it's not like it just stopped at a random ass number. Bitcoin Cash did the same thing. I think Chainlink did the same thing too. And I would not be shocked. Yeah, Chainlink did the same exact thing. It did a whatever kind of move it did. 300x. Then it hit the 786 retracement. See? Or almost did at least. So maybe it's off somewhere. But listen, I'm not going to pretend to be an analyst. I don't know why it stopped where it stopped. But it stopped just shy of the 786 retracement. It's easier to be bearish on Chainlink because Chainlink sucks. But Chainlink and Doge did the same thing. So how could you be bearish on Chainlink and bullish on Dogecoin? It doesn't make any sense when they have the same exact chart. That's why it's hard to accept, but that's what it is. I think the hardest thing for us, especially me too, is like you're telling me that Ethereum didn't make a new all-time high? How could that be? Yeah, didn't I remember we said that too. Well, we didn't say this, but remember I was saying it's like now we don't have that excuse because ETH technically did make a new all-time high. But even Solana barely made a new all-time high too. So you're telling me Solana went from 260 to $8 just to go back to 260 and now it's bearish again? Yo, it it could be. It could be. Because crypto's not what it once was, man. If you get a million views, you only get $100 with good CPM. Yeah, that's what I just said. That guy gets a million impressions. So if he gets 3 posts a day, it's $300 a day. Why would you not bull post? Because when you bull post, you got the Moon Boys and you got the Perma Bears talking shit. That's why if you never show your face, you just make content, that's the best case scenario because no one knows who you are. You can post whatever you want. And that guy's probably already a millionaire, so he doesn't give a shit. It's easy to be right in a bull market. Well, it's easy for the perma bears to be right in a bear market too. That's why the perma bears looked stupid this whole time, but they also looked really smart back here. The problem is most people are either perma bulls or perma bears. And you'd be surprised at how many people are one or the other. I'm not either. I'm just a regular schmuck with pajama pants on, but I can only show you what has always happened. Where I did that last time too, but we didn't want to believe it because it's like, nah, this is bullshit. Indicators don't mean anything. But when it's bullish, we want to believe it. So I'm accepting my fate, brother. I've already accepted my fate. I already have a new 5-stage plan, but it's not ready to be rolled out yet. It's in the alpha stages. Then once we finish the alpha stage, we're going to move to the beta stage. We're going to have an open beta and a closed beta. And then we're going to implement it. What about the upcoming catalyst? What's the catalyst? 250 bogeys in the chat. Welcome. Did we get any more subs? Nope. You guys didn't sub. I guess I should show my food channel, yeah. I guess I should shill my food channel. If you are new to the stream, please click that link in the chat. We're trying to get to 540 subscribers. We got 247 viewers in the chat. Only subscribe if you're gonna watch. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subs over the next 3 days. No, probably over the next year. If you like Taco Bell, I think I'm gonna run through the whole menu, honestly. And then I'm gonna go on to something else. Maybe I'll do pizza. Pizza Hut. Pizza. What do I think of Zcash? It rallied out of nowhere. That's alright. It's gonna, like I said yesterday, it's gonna be like Battlefield. Someone put the C4. Brother, someone put the C4 on it, and then they're hiding in a bush somewhere. And then they detonate it. And as fast as it goes up, it comes right back down. I don't know if it's gonna go back to $30, but man, look at Ethereum Classic. It's kind of hard to believe that Ethereum Classic is never gonna go up. Like, I'm not saying that it won't, but that's what it looks like. So Rate cuts possible in the crypto bill? Yeah, I have no idea. Produce department isn't a bad gig. You get to work with broccoli heads. Nah, I'm never going back to there, man. Hopefully. I hope. I guess never say never, but I'd probably do something else. That's why I hope my food channel gets monetized. There's so many people making food channels, though. Does Black Friday affect the market? No. I love food, but I'm on a diet. Yeah, I'm not on a diet, but I'm trying to lose weight. 2020 Solana was $1. Yeah, that's why I think I'm done with the whole altcoin shit, man. I gotta find another way to make money. DC Woodworks for 2 says nothing. I appreciate the 2. What about Sui? It's going to 0. Dude, these coins are all done, man. I'm curious as to what even Ethereum, look at Ethereum's bull market, man. Yo, we're late. We missed it. This thing did a 700,000% gain, man. We missed it, chat. Google has been ripping. Fartcoin is killing it. Is it over 2.32 cents? Nah, it's bearish again. You got me though. You got me. I wonder how low GBTC is gonna go. Would you buy GBTC if it went back to 20 bucks? I mean, it just keeps doing a 12x. Weekly dividend ETF. I don't know what that is. Yo, MicroStrategy's rolling over. What the hell? Dude, don't tell me we're not even gonna bounce. No. Dude, why is this thing still going down? Where's the bottom, Anon? You motherfucker. You motherfucker. You told me we were you told me we were gonna bounce. Dude, it's so over, man. Just look at MicroStrategy. It's called the waterfall. I call this one the waterfall. Why is it going down again? Oh, it didn't make a new low. It's making a triple bottom. Triple bottom. What confused us is the new coins that went up. Yeah, but now you're gonna see coins go up and people are gonna think it's still bullish. Come to pop up 45 MSRT. Nah, it's not going that low, man. That's way too low. I guess you'd have to buy in at $45. I don't think it's going that low. Yeah, we gotta make a game plan, man. It's already about to be 2 months in. Hold on, I gotta find. Strategy just tweeted if Bitcoin drops to our average cost basis, we still have 5.9 times assets to convertible debt, which we will refer to as the Bitcoin rating. Oh, wait, he posted a thing actually. Hold on. All right, I don't know what that even says. Yeah, MicroStrategy could be a good play, honestly. I think $45 is too low. I think $70 is gonna be the bottom. Cause think about it. You went down 50%, 60% from this bottom here, even 55%. So if we bottom now, 55% is 60, 70 bucks. I think 45 is too low, man. Buying Circle. Yeah, dude. Dude. I don't know. I think this bull could be a good one too. I gotta keep my eye on this. I think bull is gonna be Robin Hood next time. Right? If bull goes down to $5, oh, it might even go to $3. Yeah, what if this shit rocket launches out of here? Wait, does anyone actually use Webull? Hold on a second. Hold on a second, cuh. Why is Webull not a competitor to Robinhood? Don't they have the same thing? The market cap is 4 billion. So if we're projected to be bullish from the summer of 2027, yeah, this thing has all year to go down. Yeah, no, if this thing goes to $3, I think I gotta get in. Lots of people have been trying to time the bottom of Webull. The bottom's not in until over here somewhere. Listen, unless the S&P doesn't ever pull back, again, I'm not going to come on here pretending to know exactly what it's going to look like. Because believe it or not, chat, 2 of the last 3 bear markets for Bitcoin, the S&P didn't even go down that much until the very last second. The 2014 bear market was, the S&P was actually going up. I don't know how many people caught that. 2018 bear market, the S&P went up. It was only when Bitcoin bottomed did the S&P pull back to the 200-week moving average. This is the only bear market where Bitcoin actually went down with the S&P. I don't know if you guys are aware of that. I don't know about what 2011 maybe too, but so if the S&P doesn't pull back, there's going to be people saying the bull market is still on. But I think we're going to get the bounce. I don't see how we don't bounce, man. There's just too many people shorting. I think someone posted the funding rate is negative, which is always a bottom signal in the short term. At 36K, Bitcoin could be 40. Yeah, but we're not going down to 36K, man. That's too low. Gemini has a better chance. Wait, Gemini is a stock? Is this it? The Gemini space station? Wow. Bro, it's down 70%. No shit. So this is going to be like Coinbase. It's just going to go all the way down to 0. Yo, no shit, man. This is literally telling you it's bearish. Nice find. No shit. Dude, if we get this bounce, man, this stock, oh man, this thing could go all the way down to $5. Nice find. So it IPO'd right near the top, just like fucking Coinbase did. So they're running the same play twice in a row. No shit, huh? All right, nice find. Nice find. It's just getting ready for takeoff. What, Gemini? It's down 80%. But it could be a good gamble for the next bull market, I will admit. Because Coinbase went all the way back to its high. And the bull run started from Bitcoin's bottom. So it's very possible that Gemini does the same thing. Gemini is owned by the Winklevoss twins, right? Is that how you say it? Winklevoss? So maybe if it goes down to $5. Yeah, but dude, we're only in November of 2025. If it's a bear market, the bottom isn't going to be in until back here. So this shit is going to go down to $2. Yeah, I guess if it's at $2, you got to gamble, right? Everybody pile in. Space stocks are cooked. This is not space. This is Gemini. It's called the Gemini Space Station, but their website is Gemini.com. Isn't that the fucking crypto exchange? Look at ETH BTC. Look at this dude. Look at this dude. Yeah, but you got to remember that this was bullish for Ethereum because Bitcoin was going up. You know? If Bitcoin goes down while this goes up, that's actually bad for us because then the Bitcoin dominance is going to do what it did last time, where the dominance went down when we went down, and then it went up when we went up, and then it went down when we went down, and then it went up when we went up. So that means we're going to sit through the same thing as we just sat through, which is bad. XPL bullish falling wedge. Watch out. Watch out. That's a good one. Watch out. Wait, did we get more subs? Only one. Nah, we're gonna get through this, man. We're gonna get through this. If we get this bounce until January or February, we're gonna get through this. The QE liquidity cycle will tell us crypto moves based on a 4-year cycle or policy. How do I pull up the QE cycle? So the crypto industry is dead just because everyone will buy stocks instead? Well, that is a bullish argument because we do have to accept that we did have QT this time. So it could be now everyone's leaving crypto because crypto sucks. So the next market cycle could be good for crypto. That's the argument. That would be a believable bullish argument. We don't know when QE starts. They only announced they're ending QT. Yeah, but you have to say that every single time someone says that, so it's easier to just say you're right. Now you're starting to get it, Magic Ostrich. You should have that copy and pasted so you can paste it in. Every time someone says it. I want to share a chart and I can't join the Discord. If you can't join the Discord, that means you got banned. You should be able to click the link in the description. Have you joined the Discord before? Wow, it's already 3 o'clock. Dude, the time is flying by right now. It's scary. Wasn't it just Halloween? Now it's about to be Thanksgiving and then Christmas. Oh my gosh. Dude, time is moving way too fast. QE starts 3 months after QT ends. Yeah, I'm asking you guys, is there a way for me to pull that up on the screen? That's my point. Is there a way for me to show the data? The data, the fashion, the beau market. See, like this, the PMI. Everyone says, oh, well, the PMI didn't pump yet, so we're going to go to the moon. But how do we know it's going to pump? Because it pumps every time? Like, if that's your answer, then I don't know how to respond to that. Because don't you think if it was going to pump, it would have pumped by now? I'm going to be honest, it looks like it's going to roll over and then pump. Kind of like this. Which, for those of you that are shilling QE, didn't they start QE here? Quantitative easing dates indicator. Nice. Quant. Maybe it's... Oh, I spelled quant wrong. I hate these long ass words whenever they have quantitative, quantitative easing. Here we go. So correct me if I'm wrong, but according to the data, the bull market ends halfway through quantitative easing. But is there a... Brother, there was no QE in 2015. Or whatever year this was. So Ben Cohen says the Fed ended QT in July and QE didn't start for another 8 months. According to Mr. Cohen, QE started 259 days after QT ended. But QT didn't end yet, and we're already 2 months in. So 8 months plus 2 months is 10 months. So QE starts in 8 months. The bear markets are going to be over by the time QE starts. Banter showed it today. QE. Yeah, but why are you guys assuming that QE is coming if Mr. Powell doesn't exit the board until June? I need real data. That's my point. There needs to be a chart that shows, like, Is there anyone in the chat? Is there anyone in the chat that's fucking coherent? I'm just kidding. What is QE? What is that? Don't tell me it's money printing. There's an actual name for it where they add to the balance sheet. Is that what it is? What is that called? Is easy, brother. October is the bottom. Yeah, but we need to feed into the hopium. We need to feed into the hopium. Why do you say we're bearish if Doge is up today? This guy said, why am I bearish if Doge is up today? And the candle's fucking red. My man. My man. Quantitative easing. No, that's not what I meant. But like, what is the process of quantitative easing? They increasing the balance sheet, they're adding money supply. What is it? QE means get rich, gay bear. What I'm trying to say is what can I type in here? Like, I know WACL is assets other. So are we typing in Federal Reserve balance sheet? Liability, you know what I'm saying? Is it this? Is this the chart I'm looking for? Or no? I think this is the chart I'm looking for. How do you spell quantitative? I'm like retarded. Quantitative easing. Okay, so chat, I answered my own question because you guys never help. Thank you. Thank you for sucking up oxygen out of my stream. So this is the exact chart that I'm looking for. So let me add this to the watch list. No, I'm not. Yeah, I am. Okay. So what is QT? QT is when this goes down, correct? For the economists in the chat, I'm not an economist. So QT is when we go down. So did we start QT in 2022? Yes, we did. And QT is going to end in December. I don't know if this is considered QT or not. I'm not sure. So did QE officially... So they didn't even end QT until August of 2019. But they started... So QE started September of 2019. The Federal Reserve began its quantitative easing program in October of 2019. All right, so that was here. When did the Fed end QT in 2019? The Fed ended... The FOMC announced the end of balance sheet runoff in July. Okay, so they stopped in July. So they stopped in July, but it went down. So they started QE 3 months after the end of QT. So they ended QT in July. And they started QE in October. So they ended QT in July. And they started in October. So they started QE and we went fucking straight down, brother. Brother, I can't buy hopium that doesn't exist. So you're coming in here telling me QE's to the moon when the last time they did QE, we went down 50%. What you gonna do, brother, when the truth comes out? I'm telling you, man, these not you, but like in general, these crypto YouTubers are just showing, they're just giving you fluff. The data says QE is bearish. You gabagool. We went straight down. It's all rubbish, man. I'm telling you, the news, it's not all rubbish. It's just like you gotta, if you look at the news, you look at all the data, you have to sit here plugging in all the shit when we already have the data. It says bearish. So once again, the QE is, it was probably priced in, yeah. It was priced in and on. Chris for 10 says QT was 10-1 to 10. Oh, nice. There we go. QT2. Nice. So Chris dropped the data we were looking for. I appreciate the 10. So QT, right. So chat, according to Chris, the Fed never did QE. They did QT in 2017. Oh, I see. Never mind. QT. Yeah, so there was no Q. All right, so we already have. So Chris gave us the data that we found on our own, but he ended up posting it in a table instead of on the chart. I appreciate the 10, Chris. It helps out a lot. It really does. Yeah, we cracked the code. We have it right here. Because your dates are QT1 is 2017 to here to 8/1. That's what we have. Then you have QT2 was from June to now, December. Yeah, so if anything, I think you could make the case that the next bull run will be big. Not big, but be better. The next bull run will be better, which is something that we didn't want to hear a year ago, but unfortunately we had to swallow the pill. But as you can see, there are still people, I'm not saying you guys, but I'm saying like in the crypto space, there are still people pushing the narrative that we're going to go up. But the next bull run could be good. That's why you can't lose all your money in the bear market. That's what I said 3 weeks ago. Don't lose all of your money. There is hope for the next bull market. So they only did quantitative tightening 2 times in history? That's interesting. So they did QE in November of... Yeah, I think that's what we have here. They did QE to March 2010. Yeah, Chris, thanks for sharing. So we did find the data, but you gave it to us in English. I appreciate the 10, man. It helps out a lot. So the question becomes, where is crypto or the S&P when they start QE? They started QE here. They started QE here. And that's all we have. So in recent history, it looks like when they start QE, we crash both times. We crashed in 2020 and we crashed in 28. So I don't know if QE is necessarily bullish. It's bullish for the future, but in the short term, both times the market went down shortly after. So I think QE is a good argument for the following market cycle, which is why I would like to see the dominance not go down, even though it is. That sucks, because if we're going to get QE next market cycle and the dominance is already up here, you could get a 2017 style bull run where Ethereum runs from the get-go. That's what I would like to see. That's why I hope somehow we're doing this. Even if we're doing this, whatever. You know? Yo, shit, this could be actually. Because look, the bottom would be October 20. Yo, maybe we do get this, huh? Yo, that actually lines up with my chart too. Because you got to be out of altcoins sometime in 2028. All right, chat, we might be on something here. So maybe it wasn't a waste of time. Didn't QT end here too? Oh, all right, chat. We might be on to something here. It's possible the next bull run is actually a big one. All right, chat. Let's see. Let's see what we could do. This bear market will be short. I don't agree with that. You'll see. I mean, listen, I'm not gonna act like I know, but it's gonna get bad. Solana's gonna be like 40 bucks. Holy shit. Holy shit. Sell in May, go away. If you ban someone, can they still watch your video and just not talk in the chat? I believe so, yes. Next bull run should be good, but this bear market that's coming should be aggressive. Yeah, so the whole point is why would they do quantitative easing unless something is wrong? Yo, that guy's from 2022. Dude, there's people coming to my chat that only show up in the bear market. First, it was the cactus guy, Pierre Lamont. Then it was Yudi. And now this guy, AB1580. If you would have changed your profile picture, I wouldn't know who you are. But I remember you. It's from like Afghanistan or something. I can't really see from here. This guy hasn't been here since 2022. Dude, the bears are coming out. The bears are coming out, man. The Fed cuts when labor goes to shit. Didn't they just show? Well, listen, we're not going down the economics route because I wasted all my time with that shit. We did that in 2022 and we went down anyway. And that's my point. Remember in 2022, we were looking at all the Fed shit and we went straight down? I'm not looking at that shit. I'm looking at the indicators that said we're going down. They all say we're bullish until January or February. And then we're going straight down. Help me join the Discord. You should be able to just join the Discord, brother. Riser. Oh, Riser the bear joined the Discord. Riser joined the Discord, the perma bear. If I think realistically you can take 50% of these prices for a bottom, that's what I'm looking for. The first move down of the bear market is always 50% away from the bottom. It happened in 2022. It happened in 2018. It happened in 2014. Well, this one was 64%. But that's what I'm thinking. I think the bottom is in or close. And then by October, we'll be at 40K. But that's why if we can find out where this is, maybe we can get some money and then get in at the bottom. I only subbed for the beartainment. Did you sub to the food channel too? Damn. What's up, Graken? Welcome to the end of the live stream. The thing that sucks now, though, is that it's already dark outside. So stupid. Dogecoin at 1 cent. No, it's not going that low. If it goes that low, it's never going back up. But yeah, I think we're all on team Bull Boy. Yeah, but then what about Bear Cohen's chart? It never played out. Or I guess you could say, but it never hit. Unless it goes like this, then the bull market starts. Gay bear chart. But I think we're all on team bull right now for a bounce. But here's my question. If the bottom is in, then how long does the move down take? 98 days. Yeah, see, this one was 200 days, man. Yeah, but this one was fast. Nah, I'm starting to think we're gonna go down in February and March, the way that it looks. Because if the bottom is in October and we go sideways for 3 months, that puts us in February. Then we got to go from 100K down to 40,000. But the thing is, man, you can overlay any market cycle and that's what it says. Like, it's actually pretty interesting. They all say the same thing. Look, they all say the same thing. Even the first one, which is the most interesting, something so old, even says. Actually, this one looks a little, wait, let's see. Nah, even this one, dude, it's pretty close. Close enough. So the question is, where is the move down? It could be see, 2018 and 2022 say the move down starts in March. 2014 says the move down starts in April. But in every market cycle from April to October is ultra bearish. But if we already bounced from the low, then we have December, January, February. Yeah, I think we're gonna get this, man. You know why we're not gonna overcomplicate it? Because wherever the stock RSI is, or wherever the price is when the stock RSI comes up here, that's where the top is. So if you're on Team Moonboy, this is your chance to make a new all-time high. For the Moonboys in the chat, if the RSI comes up here and Bitcoin didn't make a new all-time high, then we're about to go down to 40,000. Why? Because every single time this market cycle, you made a new high, the RSI went from oversold to overbought. If we do this and we don't make a new high, it would be the first time since 2023 that didn't happen. And that happened in 2022, and it happened in 2018. You didn't even get to overbought in 2018. That's how bearish it was. Even in 2014, you hit overbought. See? Look, the weekly RSI going oversold to overbought is extremely bullish. In 2018, the first time you didn't do it, straight down to Goblin Town. Won't you take me to Goblin Town? Goblin Town. So, if you're going to FOMO in, it's up to you. Just be open to this for the Moon Boys. If you see the weekly stock RSI, if you never come back to my stream again, please just note this. If we come to April or March or February and the weekly stock RSI is overbought and Bitcoin did not make a new all-time high, you got a ticket to Goblin Town. One-way trip. It happens every bear market. You come up overbought or just get to below overbought, you make a lower high, and you never reach that price again. This time, it took 385 days. This time, God help us if this happens again. It took 700 days. This time, it took, Jesus, 700 days. So if we go up to 100K and we get stuck, you can imagine it's going to take 700 days to get back there, which is exactly what I think it is. Look, at the end of 2027, early 2028. Yo, I think this is where we're at. I think the rally back to the all-time high is going to be Q4 of 2027. So that's when we get our money back, which is 2 years from now. I like it. Dude, I like it. And the thing is, maybe it is so simple because if you just copy and paste the last market cycle and you put it on here, look at what it is. It's Q4 of 2027. I think we're all on Team Bull right now for Team Bounce. But listen, if you're a Moon Boy, this is your chance to make a new all-time high. So if we go up and make a new all-time high, it'll probably be in January. If it's January or February and the RSI is up here, you have been handed a ticket to Goblin Town. The question is, do you want to hold on to it or do you want to pass it to the next guy? Double it and give it to the next guy. That's a question you have to ask yourself. For the gay bears, do you want to take the ride to heaven? What are the Valhalla? Is that what the bulls say? Or do you want to wait and see if they're going to hand out tickets to Goblin Town? Because you could be the one handing out the ticket. Here you go, sir. Take my ticket. Thank you. One stop to new all-time high, please. And then you hear the transit bus. Bam, 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 bam. And then the guy turns around and laughs at you, and then we go straight down. Yeah. Let's see what happens. I'm scared of curveballs. We're going so down to sub 40K. No, I don't think it's that low. Your lives are long. Not really. They've been 2 to 3 hours the whole time. They've been 2 to 3 hours pretty much this whole month. Right? 3 hours, 3 hours, 3 hours. Nah, it's 2 to 3 hours. You chatting about, mate? I guess in the bull run it used to be an hour. Well, that's how you know it's bad, man. Yeah, I guess it's an hour longer. I used to stream for 2 to 3 hours back in the day. But huge reversal incoming. Every YouTuber is talking about a bear market. Brother, every YouTuber I look at is bullish. But you guys got to understand something. People have been here for more than one bull market. Every single, you know what? Got to work on my New Year's resolution. Chat, I'm not coming on here telling you not to buy in or not to sell. You got to do what's best for you. If we're going up for a Moon Boy mega cycle, the Megastar LA Knight, yeah, this is where we're going. If we make a new all-time high, this is your chance. If this comes up here and we did not make a new all-time high, you will receive a ticket to Goblin Town. You will. The question is, do you want to give it to the next guy or do you want to keep it? So I think right now we're all on Team Bull. And here's another thing to add to that. The 2-week stock RSI will go up and make a new high if it's a bull market. If it's a bear market, The 2-week stock RSI never goes up. See? So I'm giving you the cheat code that the premium YouTubers don't give out for free. So subscribe to my food channel. If it's a bear market, the 2-week stock RSI will not go up, but the weekly one will. Now, maybe it goes up a little bit, but it won't reach overbought, because in the bull market, it reaches overbought. In a bear market, it does not. So if it's January or February and the 2-week stock RSI is still in the dirt, but the weekly stock RSI is on the top, take it to Goblin Town, please. Excuse me, please. I need one ticket to Goblin Town. Is it to go or to stay? That's up for me to decide at that time. One ticket coming right up. Gamble 1900, bet doing terrible. Dude, you're gambling all your money away, man. Stop. Dude, if you have $10,000, why don't you just go get a job and fucking come back in October? You can get Solana at $40. That's better than gambling on Barcelona, man. You can put your 10K in and you can get your 60K back. And if we go into a bull run, it doesn't matter because you're gambling on Barcelona anyway, so you're going to miss it. There's no right answer for picking Barcelona. But all right, chat. Hopefully you guys didn't buy into that bear hopium. We're about to go vertical. QE's coming, baby. We got Donald Trump in the White House about to pump this shit into oblivion. Rounded bottom forming. So, as always, I do appreciate the support. Appreciate the subs, the super chats. You guys have been killing it lately. You guys are really, I do appreciate the support, man. Every stream we get over 200 viewers. Think about that, chat. All bull market in 2025, we struggled to get 200 viewers. Now we're pulling 200 viewers every single stream. So I appreciate the support. I know that's not going to last. At some point, people will give up. But that's why I hope it's bullish, because people will come back and, we'll be able to get some more super chats. So enjoy your day. As always, none of this is financial advice. Appreciate the super chats, the subs. Did we get any subs? Nice. Not really, but that's okay. And we'll be back tomorrow. So enjoy your day. I guess I'll put the Christmas tree up at some point. And bye.